dominant in the army behind them. All the army
walking all over me, so now I'm like, no!
Then the horn, then the harmony, and then the army behind it. Are you making that?
Heard from my grandpa. My dad is in town. My grandpa was not.
I get down, I have to.
Nursing home at West Independence.
Okay.
Rough shape and
Ready? Can you bring up louder, please?
Right. I'm not feeling my best.
Then,
Okay, I have to
For
pray.
sure. What is your number?
He's going to be expanding.
Gate.
He's going to draw a picture for you and let you know.
Okay.
A little bit of information that's going to keep building and building. So you get the whole picture and you can understand it as I'm giving it to you.
I'm ready.
Face the floor, Joshua chapter 6. This is the first city that the Israelites attacked. Joshua, when he crossed over the Jordan River, was the first city was what? It was Jericho.
Let's pray for our youth this year. We need to.
Before all this, about 40 years, things happened, and then they went into
We had
Jericho.
growth, and it was within the church, sort of. And we had
Jericho.
Okay, we can do it. We also, I'm gonna get things,
Been controversy.
and I'm gonna try to figure out
A lot
how
of discussion
to get it.
about this, giving rise to public disagreement, debate, or informational.
Figure that out. And
What's the city? How did it fall? All the walls. There's been a lot of discussion about, and so I got involved too, and I was curious. So it's controversial. Over the years, a number of different expeditions. That's where they explore. They go in and they research and they do some comparisons, and then it brings into some discussions. So you have these different things. First, second.
Pray for Quincy. Pray for Galen. We need to pray for.
I'll
we need to
pray.
pray for Keith. For real.
Okay. They're different people. I think. Staying.
And so we want to be okay.
Are staying.
And we need to pray for our youth.
There's Italian. They're archaeologists. So there's five, basically, five different researchers. Okay, it's taken years for them to do that. I'll explain deeper as we go on, okay? So there was this British, this is the second one, okay? This is the second person that's researched it. He's from Britain. He's an archaeologist. And John Garsting, who was involved in this expedition where he found a great thick destruction and debris. Okay, all this debris, the stuff that was left, it was very interesting when he explained it very deep, okay? Something way of saying, yes, we'll explain something. Now this Garsting himself, he believed that the Bible story. He believed that it happened in Israel. So he went over. Israelites burned Jericho.
What
The scripture is talking about how it was burned. It was destroyed. What did they do? They burned it. It was all destroyed. It was burned. There's a scripture there talking about how it was burned. And also, John. In 1400 BC.
Lord, to be able to say something though.
2,400 years ago. Yeah, that's a long time ago. In the past.
So, I do want to say, on Bible quizzing, we're about to talk
What
about
is the biblical date for the conquest?
lessons on that.
This is one.
And
This is one.
we are,
But there's a problem here.
if you're either going to Bible
In 1950s,
we can't go
the
through
British
all these
archaeologist
learn one chapter. Or
Kathleen
literally, I'm telling you.
Kenya,
I'm gonna be
she
proud of you,
came
not really.
to Jericho, where she completely revised Garstein's findings,
Whatever you want to call it.
his theories.
That is not
You know,
okay.
so she did some, and she's changed it. So there's a problem with that, and let me show you why.
All of the material.
She's,
And this year, because it's not our first
She
year,
said that
this year when
Garstein,
we're spending
this
our
guy
money,
up here,
our time, our resources,
was
we're
wrong
having to miss our Saturdays and
because
Sundays.
what the time period wasn't right.
I don't see my-
Really happened in 1550
I go to a Bible
BC, not
I
before, not later.
sometimes, many times I have to leave my children.
What?
I want to be with my family.
Before Christ.
But I believe it's very God ministry. It is a revival ministry. And it's going to help save your soul. And
How's
if
it
you
possible
get
for the
involved,
theory
you can't quiz the
that
church.
Kathleen,
I want you to
I'll just
still
use
help
KK for her.
between both of them,
Like Sister Abigail, she's been on.
there wasn't a city there, there's evidence.
So,
So the
but
Bible
I
and
think
history,
that she's going to help you.
it wasn't comparable at that
Any of
time.
you that don't quiz, I want you to help your friends that are quizzing by quoting them.
So the
Like,
history of the
if you're
Bible,
having free time, maybe while you're waiting for someone else to let you play,
Dr. Wood,
you could like
he
quote
he
your friend.
pulled up his sleeves and he got to work, he got to studying this.
Okay, or
He
they.
said that
And,
Garstein
we're
wasn't
gonna-
wrong,
this means we're gonna
but
have
he was
some
really
fun.
right.
We're gonna start
And
having
I'm going to
practice.
explain this here.
We're gonna start having meets on the weekends.
This man, Bryant Wood, Dr. Bryant Wood, he went ahead and got involved because, you know, these two theories, you know, there were controversy back and forth, debating about it. So he believed in the Bible. He believed the story of the Bible. Kathleen Kenyon,
We're gonna all be involved.
she didn't believe. You know,
And
it's just theory.
so, like, there's just gonna be some
Just a
songs
theory.
and
It's just your own findings.
speaking of passion.
John Wood, or Bryant Wood believed
People like asking
in the
about,
Bible,
you know.
comparing
So
all
it's
these
not gonna be like a huge ordeal, because, I'm having a baby this year, and it'll be like,
So
in 2
the
months,
point that Kathleen made wasn't right because,
I ain't gonna lie, I don't
you know, as they investigated and did all their study, okay, he was involved in Canaanite pottery of a certain period, which was the Bronze Age. You know, and so as he studied, you know, it was showing him these different layers of burnings, you know, the material, you know, itself, and he was very knowledgeable in the specific Bronze Age Canaanite pottery. Bronze Age, you know, that was a certain time period, like the 1600 time frame for the 1400 time period in that gap, age gap, year gap. He's clarifying today's different time frame. 1600, 1400 time frame, and then in between this is that Bronze Age. If you're an archaeologist, you'll understand, you'll know all these different time frames, you know, and the categories that they, you know, I'm not knowledgeable of this myself, you know, it's just, you know, the information I saw, and, you know, between 1600 and 1400, or 600, 600 or 1600, during that Bronze Age.
I think we're only gonna have 2 teams this year. I'm gonna try to.
Okay, so this span of time, in the middle is like 1500, 1550, in the middle age. So the late, okay, I just want to clarify this with you.
So, to understand the different time frames. So, in the late Bronze Age, the number one is the time of Joshua. Okay, so that's what happened there. So you see that. Then conquest got involved in looking at the excavation, digging up reports from both of these expeditions. There was an earlier expedition in the beginning of the 20th century, and that's where they looked at the pottery. You know, Dr. Wood looked at the pottery. Okay, so both of them, the other one didn't. They
But that's weren't correct with the dates, so that kind of fell apart in their findings. He believes that Garstang, which we're talking about Dr. Hood,
So, I'm not scolding, I'm just saying.
we're going to just use G for Garstein and K for Catherine and W for Wood, okay? Okay.
G, give sign
He has
names.
to give sign names to be abbreviated,
What
okay?
is life? That's what we're talking about today.
Okay, so Dr. Wood believes that Garstang had the right date during the 1930s in his discoveries, and that Kenyon was in fact wrong. And we're going to look at the various evidence findings to show automatically that what we read in the Bible, it really did happen at Jericho some 3,400 years ago. Okay, so it's about 3,400 years ago. Now I'm ready to get moving along and show facts. Soon Jesus is
And we're gonna create a plan for daily. We talked about it.
Well, she's like, we got one more information. It's like middle of 1400,
We were gonna
so 1400 BC to 0, all the way to 2016. Okay? It's about 3,400 year span. 1,400, add 2,000, what's that?
I have written books, tons of books on it. And they're mostly
Oh, God!
total, okay?
Okay, 2,000 BC.
Yeah, that BC. I got it.
2,000 plus
Now that's not
1,400, how much is that?
but think that kind of stuff. It's not going to be like,
So we're gonna add it together?
even
Alright,
if you
that's
haven't read them, maybe you've heard.
Okay, so I know it's confusing. I know, I understand.
Yes.
So we start at 0, that's when Jesus was born. So before that is the BC. So it, it comes down to 0 and then it goes back up.
And I wasn't
Okay,
sure.
so BC, decline, it decreases to 0. So 2016, we're talking about, what happened in a time period. 1400, collected together, and then 2000, and then, okay, so we cleared it. Are we all together? Alright, so this is some pictures of some pottery. So they're findings that they found
Well, then you come to.
by John Garstang in the
The
1930s.
name of the book on the back.
With the destruction layer at
It's
Jericho.
like
Now,
that. You may not ask about
there's
more than.
there was evidence of burning, and this is distinctive
More than 2 questions.
pottery,
So
and
you
it's
guys-
decorated with red and black
No, wait,
geometric
we're not done.
patterns.
Everyone get up. You come over here.
It was used in the later part of the 15th century BC. The time of Israelite conquest according to biblical chronology. It's an interesting art. Yeah, I learned a lot. I've become an archaeologist. And Sue's just kind of getting clear understanding what that means.
Some of them do
Later
have
part,
reviews with them, but some of them.
15th century BC.
I don't know. A lot of them do.
Okay, so this is events that dates the order of the occurrence. Kathleen Kenyon did not study into this. She's smart, but she got the wrong date. She didn't look into this detail. That's the problem.
Crazy, go.
Does it have you're welcome to go to college and do the study.
Oh, no. Did you see it?
So remember I was telling you about where is Jericho? Where's Jericho? And Sue's kind of trying to remember what the thoughts are, and you go this direction. Jericho, trying to remember the Dead Sea area. About 20-30 minute walk down there? No, not walking. Okay, we were discussing that, but 30 minutes from Galilee. It's about 25.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to show you this map here in a second. Alright, Gilgal. Alright.
On the plains of Moab, you know, but it's not rocky, but across the Jericho River, about the distance of 1.25 miles from Jericho. They had to walk, you know, it's kind of like, you know, Sherry was talking about walking 3.5 miles. So, the Israelites, they compassed, or they marched around, giving them a foothold in the land. They proceeded, it began the course of action, attacking the southern areas of the Hittites and Hittites, and they went all the way up northward. They fought back. So here's a map.
Okay, so you all have your
Alright, so right here,
okay, so basically, if you
there's
have
Gilgal.
like a person
The Israelites stayed.
on your head, everyone else can see it except for you, and you go around and ask questions, yes or no questions.
It's still not
That
Jericho,
will
it's dark.
help you figure out whatever it is you want. Okay,
So here to Eli, that's where the
Okay, let's talk about
So if you follow the arrows, the direction, there's red
yes,
lines
it is. Okay,
going
so
up north,
like,
the blue is kind of going south.
okay, is
And
mine
this is the general
about
area explaining what happened to the Israelites
a boy?
was destroying this area.
yes.
Okay.
Jericho. Okay. So Jericho. So after Jericho, they would destroy the next city. They started. The first city was Jericho. It was destroyed. They attacked it. They destroyed it. So the second is the AL. Okay. So all these different cities. All right. So you got to remember. Canaanite campaigns is the red arrows.
Yeah, there are.
Canaanite campaigns and the Israelite campaigns.
I already saw yours like 100 times.
So it means that obviously the Israelites is the blue, red is the Canaanites. Okay, I get it. They worked together. Got it. So it means that when they started their journey here, they met up somewhere in the Jerusalem Jebusite location. And so they come in the promised land, okay? Remember? Jacob's family he brought, to Egypt because of the promise of everything was gone. God commanded them to come back to the Israelites. He promised Abraham,
Okay, is mine?
that this is his country. They
Whoa, that was weird. You grabbed me like,
pass it down to Jacob. That's his promise for the generations to come. There was going to be dry time, and it doesn't for years, so
Is mine related to me?
if they stayed, what were they going to do?
Yeah.
Slavery.
You can ask me that if I don't.
So they stayed, so God sent Moses, to bring them out of Egypt, take them back to Israel. That was God's promise. So all this time, these things happen, destruction, to clean it out. For that land to be brought back. Because there was that battle.
is this science fiction?
They were saying, it's my land. The Israelites, no, it's my land. It's promised to us through Israelites. So they were fighting. That they're still fighting. They're still fighting.
I'm not sure it could be two.
That's really weird.
The Palestinians, the Israelites left.
Yes or no question.
God's promise is finished one thing, but it's God's promise. The people are all messed up, right? So she's just reliberating the story, trying to clarify her understanding. Israelites.
Hey, Abby, I have a really important question. I'm not watching. Do you like it?
They again destroyed again because Moses and he went on, he took over, they destroyed, they set up.
Hey, Abby.
So Joseph saying, okay. So Kathleen Kenyon, she believed
In the name of my book.
that Jericho wasn't built at that time right there. She didn't believe it. I don't know. So Kathleen Kenyon was really, guesses and goods, their study showed that it was there and it was destroyed.
No, the
And
first
so
word
trying to say that you
book.
couldn't get in.
You're
Couldn't
what?
get in because John, so, 400 years, okay, there's the travel, so now Jericho, I'm going to explain a little bit deeper about Jericho.
There's like 8 books.
Okay, go ahead, fun.
Okay, so this picture, if you today, this is the real site. This is the real site that you would see. At the time this picture was taken, it was in the 1990s. So the archaeologist was responsible for finding these places. Okay, and so they took the pictures in the air.
Did you get your
And I looked at Google, yeah, and it's still there. It's still similar. It still looks the same. It still looks the same. So now this map is showing the area inside Jericho during the 1900s.
all of these like
There's an outline that surround the area. Okay, so let's look a little closer. There's blue, green, yellow, and red defined on during the time of the excavations between 1900s and 1990s.
Do y'all have
So Selling Walsinger was blue, Garstang was green, Kenyon was yellow, and the Italian Lorenzo Negro was red. And that was the last finding. It's still in process now as of 2012.
Okay, what's yours now?
So Kathleen never found the pottery. So her findings showed to be not as accurate as she thought. Garstang was green, okay, and all these areas here are showing. Okay, and that Lorenzo was in red. It's still ongoing as of it was 2012, but it's still ongoing to our knowledge. Okay, all right. Mary's got a question about something at the top. Ernest Selling and Carl Walsinger. These were the 1867 through a period of 1948. They were excavated 3 different seasons from 1907, 09, and into 1911. Englishman John Garstang was 1836 to 1956. Unfortunately, he was bound to his Christian beliefs. Excavated 7 seasons from 1930 to 36. Kathleen Kenyon was from 1906 to 78. She had been born into archaeology. Her father was the chief of the British Museum. They excavated 7 seasons from 52 to 58. So the map again is clarifying each findings that the archaeologists discovered.
That's right. Well written.
Okay, so if you kind of take a look at the actual picture and look at the map, you can see a little more fine detail showings between the color and the actual picture. Just by the shapes, the outlines that we're kind of noticing, and the direction on the map being north and south. All right, so it's very interesting how they would dig and how the tunnels would become more outlined and how they would be able to go through this wall. Okay, so Ray's asking about a wall, and he's saying it's around this part here. Now wait a minute, I'm going to explain in a little bit more detail. I'll explain. Just hold on your questions. I've got it. All right, there's another photo, And if you look at the map, it's actually upside down. So north is more, the north is at the bottom, south is at the top. If you look at the map, directional map, the symbol north, south, east, west is actually upside down on my screen. So below here is actually north. So the picture basically is upside down that we would normally be looking at. The aerial view of Jericho, we're looking south.
It's flat all around.
Okay, so things are flat. Kathleen Kenyon, her excavations again in the 1950s, and more recent the Italian-Palestinian excavation, which began in 97. So a little more details again. The responsibility was to research and discover and excavate more. Okay, so hold on just a second. Another aerial view. This is Jericho again. We're looking north. Okay, so you see the mountains in the background. These are the mountains. So Ray's just clarifying mountains so she can see very good. So north, we're looking north. The clouds are here. The mountains are here. This is directional south. Okay, in the south it's plain. Okay. So look right here. That was where the Italian excavator found, the archaeologist found this discovery. Okay.
The stories, what about any of these
The
stories?
retaining wall. I'm going to explain this is what they call a retaining wall here that I'm pointing to. So hold on. Please, I'm taking step by step. I don't want to go off on something so far here. Right now, to describe, here's the street, highway. Going north is this direction. You see the map, it's got an N at the top. That's north going to my left. This aerial view here has the Bronze Age is on the outside. The early Bronze Age is solid red line. Middle Bronze Age again is this area here that had the tiki marks.
Kathleen, she dug here, that little area right there, and number there, and all the number 2s. That's where she dug.
So the time frames are broken down on this map by 1 and 2. 1930 through 36, 1952 to 57. So, they would go high and low. So hold on a minute. Really today, if you would go visit, you would have to park in this specific spot right here where it says cars parked. They would allow you to go in specifically this direction and onto number 2, go back to number 2, and go back again to this direction. You can't go into the actual sites. You can only stay on the road specifically designated for that. There are proof.
Well, the archaeologists, they have to dig and they have to study, so they're studying about this, so they don't want you to actually enter that. Elisha's spring is right here. Elisha, whose water? That's a spring.
So I want to learn about this, Elisha's spring. Just curious about it.
That's next. Yeah, I'm going to study that next. I'm curious about that, Elisha's spring. Okay?
Because they had one of these.
Okay, so now, next,
In China, they have this
the Garstein Trench, right here. And Kenyon's main trench, lowered with the tower. And then this one here is the Italian guy.
This is the most well-known.
South, we're going south, I think he
But
said.
it's also a book.
Covered the pool red from spring. Covered pool, fed from the Cambridge spring. So if you can visit here, you can stop here, or you can walk in, and you can see this. The water springs. I don't really see. I'm curious, but I will.
I don't know. I need to study and read about it. I'm very curious myself.
Next, I want you to
read that yet? Maybe Ken, yeah,
Okay, so we're gonna go on. Now, this is the street. Yeah, panoramic view. Wow. It doesn't split like that. It's like taking, several shots and then they kind of pin it together. Panoramic view. So I can look at the person has to stand here and take picture after picture, looking toward west, toward the Jordan. So this thing, panoramic view. It's a whole view. It's not that divides. And then right here is, that's where the water, red water
We set up 5 stations around the fire. Listen.
So that's the
is that a train?
Skyway, Skytram.
Okay?
Tram.
And each of these.
So, they carry you to look around, look down. That's vacation. I need money, Sue says, for vacation.
Fly over there. Okay, so is this getting clear for you? Now, if you look, this is looking east. So, the mountain, the arrow at the top here, it says mountain is on the north side. So the arrow is directing north. That would mean if you look to the top of the screen, that would be east. I know it's hard to see, it's different to us, different specifics, but, the famous, the Palm City, it was famous for Palm City, it's the famous, I mean, you can't really see this specifically, but that's what they are. The mound, the heap, and a rounded pile, and I didn't know this, but they actually call that heap a word called tell, T-E-L-L. I was like, what? I thought it was tell, like voicing something, sharing information. But the mound is actually called a tell. I don't know where they got that from. I was confused. It was interesting, but that is their word for it. I looked it up in the dictionary. Like wood, like a, like a router, it's also router for wood, router for technology. They all both have different meanings, so that's the same concept with, when they say tell, it's this mound, and then tell also is, go tell this person some information. So that's, just let me know the meanings of that. Jericho was surrounded by a great earthen rampart, defensive wall. Or an embankment was barrier wall. That stone was retaining. It was a retaining wall at its base. The retaining wall was about 12 to 15 feet high. So a little bit taller than the ceiling. There's a base.
And just leave the Bible up and
A retaining wall at the bottom, that's the base. This is where it's basically set up. This is the foundational part of it that surrounds the area. So between 12 and 15 feet high. Now on top of that was a mud brick wall. Mud bricks. Created a wall that was about 6 foot thick. 6 foot and thick and about 20 to 26 feet high. So 6 foot thick and 20 to 26 feet high. So he's saying 6 feet wide. And then the height, 20 to 26 feet tall. That's what Selling and Waltzinger discovered between, I think he meant 1873 and 1958. I'm not sure what time. Okay, so the Romans wasn't there at the time. Right. You're right. She's clarifying on her.
The chariots rode on their wall, so they had to be, no, there was no chariots. Joe's saying. That's something that they made up. The Romans made up. Before, no, the Romans later. Remember, Jericho stood on the wall and they looked around. Chariots. They used camels. They used camels Zeus, the army is like, no, not yet. They used camels back then to bring in the Israelites. Read the Israelites. There's no verse. Anyway, research and find out. You find out that they did donkeys and things like that. Okay. So let's go on. At the crest, that means the top of something. The mud brick wall, the retainer wall. The top, they analyzed it and they found a similar mud rock wall whose base was roughly around 46 feet above the ground level, outside the retaining wall. So it's up on top of it, the retaining wall. So it's about like that, 46 feet.
It's really far. You can't climb it. You can't.
It's impossible.
So how could they attack that wall? Think about that. I know, but I want to talk about it. I've got so much to go over. I got to keep going.
So this is what loomed high above the Israelites as they marched around the city each day for 7 days. So they followed God's direction. On the 7th day, they went around. It was impossible for Israelites to penetrate or sneak into or make a hole in an impregnated wall. They couldn't bang on it. They couldn't, no. I don't know, maybe they could shoot things from down off the top of the wall, I don't know, but it really wasn't involved. It was impossible. Okay, so here's a picture.
All right. So in this vicinity here, and compare it between 6 and 12 feet. If you take a look at the picture, you're comparing. There's the base, and above that is the inner wall, an upper wall.
Oh.
Okay, they were smart, architect, of course, but when they built that, they knew they had to have 2 walls. There was an outside wall and there was an inner wall, and what they considered calling it the upper wall, so higher above. There was a higher wall and a lower wall. All right. Why would that be? It was easy, for defense. If they hopped over, then they had another wall they had to get over. So it was a defensive mechanism. They conquered the first wall, and possibly, once they got over, then they had another wall. So the first one is about 23 feet high. The other one was about 30 feet high in comparison. So if you take a look at the picture, what their findings were showing in this part here, there would have been houses. The double redoubtable wall for the ancient city of Jericho, that's what this is called. Okay. Again, here's a visual of a picture so you can see how it would have looked. You've got the upper city. Okay, I'm going to help you visualize this, alright? Just a second. We're going to go through this. Mud brick, what did it look like? This is a finding. Now I'm just going to let you know. In a museum, they estimated this to be between 9,000 and 10,000 years old. Between Garstang and Dr. Wood, their findings, really, they said it was about 3,400 years old. So they were way off, saying it was between 9,000 and 10,000 years old. When they actually got into researching the age of it, they came up that it was 3,400 years old. Now within the upper wall, there was an area of approximately 6 acres. So the upper wall, they went around, measured about 6 acres in total for the upper area of the city, where they had the fortification, which was the defensive wall. It was a system that was together was half, again, as large as about 9 acres. So combining that size, it was totaling about 9 acres. I'm going to show you. Again, archaeologists' rule of thumb of 100 persons per acre. The population of the upper city would have been about 600 people. So that would mean about 6 acres. That's the archaeologist's rule of thumb, how they calculate. And they go in, and they cross over the wall, whatever. They would hear, and they would like panic, and they would try to go in. More people was fearful of the Israelites that they were going to come because when you shoot that 3,000 people, it would become crowded. Now the scripture is talking about the door was shut. The doors were shut. They didn't allow anyone in. They didn't allow anyone out because there was too many people trying to come and go. Trying to come. You got. They were arguing about destruction, destroying things, and
they wanted to defend themselves. Now we'll talk about that later. No. That's another way I'll explain. Okay. Let's go on. In addition, those Canaanites living in surrounding villages would have fled to Jericho for safety. Thus, we can assume that there were several thousand people inside the walls when the Israelites came against the city. Alright, so here's the plan of rooms of Jericho. The A area exhibited by John Garstein, where he found evidence for the destruction of Jericho by the Israelites.
They couldn't access because of this road. You see this line right here. They were stuck. A long time ago they went through. B2, 8 by 8 miles. I'm not sure. This is the excavated. Around 1550 BC. Now again, the A area was excavated by John Garstang. The B area was by Kathleen Kenyon. There's a modern reservoir. That's where the water springs are. I'm going to go back here just a second. The revetment wall, plastered rampart, in conjunction by a wall. All right, measuring this, 525 feet across. Up and down would have been 1,197 feet. So across and down, it would be between 785 and 925 square feet. About 13 football fields. So square feet measurements is that, and then the height is around 65 feet of the ruins of Jericho. The 3 yellow sections are Kenyon's trenches, showing a doorway and a passage from outside of the city. Now remember, I was teaching about how this bell is curved. I was imagining it kind of looked like an egg with a shell, just kind of broke apart. And just kind of, to me, it reminds me of an egg. Joshua 3:15 scripture is explaining how Jordan overflowed its banks at the time of harvest. During the time of harvest. So it was around springtime. Alright, the priests, when they carried, they would walk, and the water would go towards the side, so the priest was able to walk through How'd they cross over?
I see it both ways. 'Cause I
It
don't
started-
want to contradict anyone. I'll be
It
like,
started dividing, so they walked through.
whatever you want. I don't want to hurt your heart. Let's just do the work.
All right, so this kind of hard is really the people.
Okay, so we just went.
They have a large supply of food.
Learning from Bible. So how is going from station to
In
station?
the 1930s, Garstein found evidence there was a lot of food in these containers. So to expand visual on this, so how much food, they could store,
So you might
did
have
maybe
verse here.
for several years. They weren't going to run out. They had plenty.
Right, because the word of God
And
says
the
that.
retaining wall, so they had plenty of food, It went for 5 years, haha, you.
Okay.
They had water and
Each
food.
time we study the Bible, we discover
They didn't worry about it. They were able to stay. They just waited it out for 5, 6, 7 years. They didn't have to worry. They had plenty of food. God knew, that they could, they were going to stay. So He went forward and destroyed them. Get this, God knew. They had food. They had water to provide for themselves, so they didn't care. They had plenty. We were going to run out. We weren't going to worry about it. Now, the Jordan River flooding, this is a picture from 1940. This is where the area of flooding took place. There was houses. Looks like there was electrical poles, light poles. Could you imagine? Like the priest that was walking with the ark. They would look up, it's impossible to cross over. But they had to trust God. They trusted God. They would walk, and the water would part to the side. It was dry. And they just marched up. After they crossed it, covered up. Amazing. That's what Garstein and Dr. Wood, they believed this was true. The scripture, they were comparing it, that it was evident that it gave the visual, the harvest time, the spring, and during the flood. It helped expand. That's what they believed. So that's a possibility. So the Israelites were able to go through. Okay, I kind of already explained all this already. Again, there's the Jordan River. In the flood stage, let's go down to the next paragraph. No, already talked about that. All right, now the
Scripture tells that. So Joshua 6:20, you see here where it says, on the seventh day, the Israelites, they marched around and around 7 times. On the 7th time, they blew their trumpets, and then they yelled, and the walls fell flat. Here's the point, that they fell flat. So recently the picture showed, the walls, like the upper and the lower wall. How could they do that? They researched and found out evidence that the walls, they crumbled inward. You saw the mounds, it was, there was no rubble. It fell into the earth. So, the Hebrew translation, the word fell beneath itself is the actual word here would be fell beneath itself. Is there evidence of such an event at Jericho where it just fell into the ground instead of tumbling down where, said the rubble coming down? And then the easy came in and destroyed it. So the wall right here, see this wall, the retaining wall?
next layer, next layer, next layer. Hot trickled down. They were able to march up, made Israel be able to go through. They walked above it. They walked on top of it. Basically, that's how they marched up. Wow. Okay, so in this particular place, it's 6 feet wide, remember? It toppled over. So it toppled downward. Archaeologists discovered they found this. You have the pictures to show you. So it came down, really, God told them to measure a certain way, certain distance to march around. I don't know. The wall is lower. This is the lower wall, that's the upper wall. Came down, it fell, it collapsed over down to the lower wall, and then down to the bottom. Wow. Now, Kenyon, when she was excavating and discovering, it looked this way. The passage, they would go up this direction, up the steps. The original city, there was a wall. With a tower and a lower wall. Design looks different. Backwards or something. Okay, but the concept. They dug into, they found, they discovered, they went through. Really, it wasn't possible for people to come in and climb up and then go over. The door was right here, and then you walk in and then go up into the city. God shut the door. Do you want them in or out? There was 3 places. Really, I don't know. God shut it. Obviously, kept everyone out. Going in and out. It was forbidden to go in and out. You can go in and out. It's forbidden.
Okay, this third thing that we'll do. Okay.
Recently, I was explaining about how it looked like an egg. Alright, so we go this direction. How it came around the wall. Really, I'm focusing on the wall itself. So Kenyon and Garstang, when they were investigating, they found that this part here fell. Fell downward, again, except in the north. It stayed. That part of the wall stayed. That part of the wall stayed. See, look at this.
Okay, the rest of you.
It did not fall. It did not fall. Why would it not have fallen? Why?
These 4 are multiple.
Anybody know?
And I want you 3 to be multiple.
They have the harvest.
So,
Yes. That's right. Yeah. Right.
if you're all 3, you 3 will
Yeah.
those things. One of
Okay,
these
so the wall, it did not collapse over. Why? Because Sister Paget said Rahab. That's where she was living at that moment. She was protected. Her women were protected, right? Yes. In that part right there. The north wall. Okay, the north part. Outer part. Okay, hold on. We've got scripture. Hold on. It did not fall. It did not fall. All these areas fell. They fell upon themselves. This back. There is proof still today. It's a visual.
Right, binding agreements become non
Now again, an illustration.
old and new.
In the north, the wall did not fall. Okay, look here.
I wish I had.
This is Rahab. Look at the wall's still there. She saved the spies. Letting out. Now the scripture we're looking at is Joshua 2:15. And she, referring to Rahab, let them down by a cord through the window. For her house was upon the town wall, and she dwelt upon that wall. The town wall. Here it is, the town wall. Hey, right here. That's the scripture. It's right there. She dwelt upon the wall. She lived on the wall. Okay? That's the part that stayed. All this other is gone. It's in. It was higher up. Remember the higher up? It collapsed on itself. So it would have come down. So the north area stayed. They allowed them time to get out.
This is the point. They all work together to tell one story. Y'all hear me? Old Testament to New Testament, from Genesis all the way
German excavations in 1907 and 09 found that on the north, the lower city wall did not fall as everywhere else did.
All right. So
That was the excavation, the findings.
you girls gotta work together because you're going to need to
The
know.
archaeologists, it still stood 8 feet.
All right. So
What's more, there were houses built against the wall.
God created the world.
It's quite possible that this is where Rahab's house was located. On the north side of the city, only a short distance to the hills of the Judean wilderness, where the spies hid for 3 days. The mountains in the north, okay? I've got another scripture.
But they
So
rebelled
the
against
spies hid for 3 days.
Eve rebelled against God.
Joshua 2:16 and 22 again.
From God's presence.
And she, Rahab,
From God.
said unto them, Get you to the mountain, lest the pursuers meet you.
Oh boy, this is loud. Okay,
Hide yourselves there for 3 days until the pursuers be returned, and afterward may you go your way. So the pursuers, they were searching for these spies. They were looking for them. They were hunting them. She says, go hide there in the mountain for 3 days. After that 3rd day, they're going to give up. They'll come back.
Yes.
And you can go your way.
One of Noah's descendants, Abraham, became the
They went out,
Abraham.
came to the mountain. They stayed there for 3 days. The pursuers returned.
Israel. So act like a father.
They gave up. They came back. They kept searching all the way, but they could not find them. They could not find those 2 spies. They were gone. Now, Israel, Rahab, she lived on the wall, the north of the mountain. Told the spies, go to the mountain, hide 3 days, stay there. All right? That's the proof. That's evidence. Right? And that's just.
Thank you so much.
All right, another picture. Ariel, Jericho.
Okay, so here's the north wall, and they escaped to the mountain, and they hid, okay, for 3 days, and then they came back. Rahab's walking. You gotta stop. Oh my gosh, you gotta stop. Oh, time is gone. Here's the walls. Here's a picture real clear. Jericho, see here, the mountains, and this is all flat plains here. And the river was here, and that's where Gilgal is, and they destroyed Jericho.
God can send a Savior, His Son Jesus.
So that's how it plays out. Camels, bicycle drivers. Sorry. Steady.